In this video, we're going to be writing polynomials in standard form, and then identifying the degree and the leading coefficient of the polynomial. So if we look at our first example, our polynomial says 4x squared minus 5x to the 7th minus 2 plus 3x. So to decide which should go first, which term should go first, we want to find the largest power, and in this case, it is the 7, which means that this term will go first. So we will write negative 5x to the 7th, and the next term will be the next largest degree, which is the 2. So it's a positive 4x squared, followed by a positive 3x, and then our minus 2. Our leading coefficient is going to be the first coefficient that we see, and our degree is going to be the power, or the exponent, of that first term. So in this case, 7. So let's look at our next problem. So here we have 4 minus 9x squared, and so we're going to find the largest power, which is a 2, which means that this is the term that we will write first. So we're going to write negative 9x squared, and then we have a positive 4. So here we see that we have a degree of 2 and a leading coefficient of negative 9. Again, we know that the leading coefficient is negative 9 because that is the coefficient in front of our first term. And the degree is 2 because that is our largest exponent. For our next example, we see that we have just the number 8. And so that one's going to be pretty easy. We're just going to go ahead and write an 8 right there. But what's its degree? Well, we can think of this as writing 0x, well, not 0 rather, but 8x to the 0 power. Because remember, anything to the 0 power is a 1, and 8 times 1 is 8. So here we're going to see that our degree is 0, and our leading coefficient would be the 8. If we move on to our next example, we have x to the 4th minus 4 plus x, and so we find our largest term, which is 4, and the leading, so that term is going to be our first term, so 8x, or not 8x, sorry, but x to the 4th, and the next term will be a positive x, and then our minus 4. And so our degree here is going to be the 4, and our leading coefficient, gosh, it looks like there's nothing there, but we can't put a 0 because technically that is saying that there's 1 x to the 4th there. So we will write the number 1. So let's do our next example. So what about when we have a polynomial that has multiple variables? Well, when that's the case, there really isn't a standard form to use. But finding the degree can be interesting. For polynomials in more than one variable, like we have here, the degree of a term is the sum of the exponents of the variables in the term. So what that means is that the degree of this term right here is 9, because 3 plus 6 is 9. And the degree of this term is 2, because 1 plus 1 is 2. And the degree of this term is 11, because 7 plus 4 is 11. And the degree of the polynomial is going to be the highest degree of its terms. And so if we look at 9, 2, and 11, 11 is the largest. So that's going to be our degree. And so we're not going to worry about leading coefficients here either. But something that we do need to talk about is called the zero polynomial. A polynomial that has all 0 coefficients is called the zero polynomial, and it's denoted by a 0. And no degree is assigned to this particular polynomial.